Hello there everyone, and welcome to Week 4 transfers for Division 2 of the Pokemon Premier League. I'm joined by TNATV1, and just Adam.
Yay.
And then Chris. Hi Chris.
Yeah, what's up?
He's CM22, come on now.
True. Obviously, Week 2 was super duper late because LOL School, which will... If you haven't checked that out, that'll be uploaded about an hour-ish before. No. Like, it's gonna be an hour, uploaded an hour before this one.
Oh, good.
That is the goal. And this time it's gonna be a little bit different. We're actually gonna go in the order that transfers actually occurred, rather than working from the bottom of the public spreadsheet to the top. So starting off, we're gonna start off with the Philadelphia Flygons and Paulie Mac, who has replaced Layson MC, who had to depart because of life issues. So yeah, he ended up dropping Mega Heracross and Superior for Landers T and Fortress. I don't like it. Don't like it.
It's bad.
Like,
he needed a spinner or defogger. That's fine. That's fair. You kept the Braviary though. You didn't do anything with that.
We've been in call for an hour and the dog literally chooses right when we start recording. Like, okay, look, there's a couple things you can drop. Like, drop Braviary, drop Kangaskhan. Don't drop one of the best wall breakers in the game. In Mega Heracross, and like,
or its own setup engine Superior,
like,
which also just destroys cores.
Like, pick one and then actually pick something that's quality.
Or here's the thing, like, if you're really like, man, I can't get anything without these, shop them around and trade them.
Yeah, like,
someone has an extra defogger or spinner.
They would gladly pick up Superior. Superior is absolutely, like, it's not the best special attacker in the game, but like, you run Subseed, you can run Subglare.
You just need to be able to bring it in on something it outspeeds, and you have a guaranteed +2.
And then, like, even then, it's got a great speed tier at 113.
Yep.
It's not the strongest, but it's definitely something that people would drop or trade things for.
Absolutely. This was a terrible value in every possible combination of everything. Fortress cost way too much points. Go ahead, Adam.
The other thing I will say is that he does have a very good special attacker who can do priority +2 in Thunder's Eye, and he does have a pretty good wall breaker in Hydreigon who can go mixed and do a lot of stuff. So it's not like he doesn't have those options still. And I do think that, I mean, I don't like Landers T. I hate Landers T. But, you know, it kind of works with Regirock. And Fortress gives you the spinner. The only thing that I will say is, yeah, he should have traded those instead of losing the value on them from dropping to free agency. He could have gotten a lot more by trading them around. But I don't hate this. I still like he does have options. God, I can't talk. He has options, and he still has offensive mons in Thundurus and Hydreigon, and Braviary to an extent. I don't know. I don't hate it.
I don't think it's comparable to compare Hydreigon to Mega Heracross. Like, I really think it benefited him to keep Mega Heracross just because, like, he doesn't really have a physical presence on his team outside of Landers T and Regirock now. I'm not even going to count Braviary and Kangaskhan because they're bad. But, I mean, hold on, that's a little harsh. They're not bad, but they're not on the same tier as Mega Heracross.
That big defiant Braviary.
Stop. It's hold on, I'm being unnecessarily harsh. Mega Heracross was something that you could literally just bring in on something, and something was going to take a huge hit even if it was resisted. This is something that could go through cores and systematically and reliably break them down. And
yeah, with not the worst amount of hand holding, Mega Heracross could sweep a lot of teams.
Yeah. And
like, it's far from the most hand-holding mon you can have.
Exactly. Braviary and Kangaskhan have done quite literally nothing but hurt the team. Braviary has shown up twice, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, he's shown up once in week 3 and once in week 4, and that's it. He's shown up twice, died twice. Has not done really anything. On the team sheet it says did massive damage to Suicune with Brave Bird, then died, was only in 1 turn. Week 3 got some good initiative and a defog, didn't get up to set up Tailwind, did over 50% to Gliscor. It got good chip damage, but it didn't do anything remotely game changing. Kangaskhan, there's nothing on the it appeared in week 1 and then there's nothing on the team sheet there. Like, you can drop both of those and then try and pick up something like Fortress, or even like just trade something for Superior. That you didn't need to drop some.
It was just bad value. It was a bad value across the board.
Yeah.
There is no, literally the only positive gain is on a team level is that he has a more reliable method of hazard removal.
Yeah,
and even then he paid way too much for it and lost way too much for it.
We're not even going to talk about Landorus T just because it's not great on this team. Just because you can go look at this team, slap on Ice type move, and then you will be doing good damage to at least 1 to 2 things every single week, and that's just not okay.
Yep.
Does that sum everything up?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. Let's move on to Juancito Marvel of the Amityville Haunters. He ended up dropping Nidoking, Armaldo, and Skuntank and picked up Skarmory. It's... I don't know, a lot of people were kind of stirred about this because he dropped Nidoking, which obviously just is horrifying to deal with. But that being said, the team now has a relatively strong defensive core with Gastrodon, Chestnut, and Skarmory. Now has a reliable Stealth Rocker that you can like justify slapping rocks on every single week. Outside of like Rocks Nidoking or Rocks Armaldo, and it's kind of cut down to like a lean, mean, offensive team basically. I'm not sure what else. I know
one had to do something.
Yeah,
he had to make moves.
I know you guys have mixed feelings about this, so go ahead.
I mean, Armaldo was a mistake. Like, legitimately, it was a literal mistake. He didn't mean to draft it. Skuntank has uses, but I can understand dropping it if you need points. Again, Nidoking has such value. It has such value. We'll see that later on when we're talking about other stuff, because another team immediately picks it up. Like, that's a thing, and I talk about it in the other video. Like, the way a lot of people in the PPL approach things is very much week to week, like matchup, like how does this look as my matchup in the future? Oh, this doesn't help me, I don't need it, and they'll drop things. And there isn't a lot of perceived value for stuff. Nidoking has a ton of value. There isn't a team that can't, be benefited by Nidoking just because it's got such amazing coverage and, so many limited switch-ins if you're running the right set.
Not the fact, like, it's horrifying to deal with. Like, I played against a Nidoking week, whatever it was, versus 1Z Bayonet, and the fact is, like, I had what was quote-unquote a designated counter in Starmie, except for the fact that Nidoking gets Sucker Punch. It has priority, and it is actually decently fast for a decent amount of power. Yeah. It's tough to deal with, and it's just not fun unless you have it, in which case it's actually fantastic.
Yeah, so like that's really my only problem here is that I think, maybe he could have traded Nidoking for some other stuff and maybe gotten something that wasn't as good as Skarmory, but like still had a deeper roster, or gotten a couple of things for a better price and dropped one of them and still gotten Skarmory and had an extra thing and not had to have dropped something else he had.
But I mean, like, what would you drop? Because Skarmory's expensive, and rightly so. It's arguably one of the...
Like I said, I mean, it really depends on what he could shop around and trade it for. Like, because there are other things that he could have gotten and done things with, and it's extremely hypothetical. But like I said, I think Nidoking has too much value to just drop for 75% share. Like,
yeah,
it's too good for that.
Adam, what do you think? Oh,
I was gonna say now he does have a very reliable defensive core, along with a pretty scary speed team of Tornadus T with Raikou, and then a Revenge Killer and Mega Medicham, and a setup sweep for Volcarona. So I mean, his team, he definitely leaned it down, and I think it looks really good now on paper, other than little Avalugg sitting back there.
I believe in Avalugg.
Oh, I like Avalugg a lot.
Avalugg for president.
Yeah, better than Trump. But yeah, he pretty much just went away from versatility of Nidoking for hoping that Skarmory is going to fit his team better, and I think it does. I think it'll be really dangerous for people to plan for, because there's still a lot of power going on there, with now a very dangerous trio of defensive mons to work around.
Yeah, that's fair.
On the whole, I think this is definitely a benefit, even though dropping Nidoking is setting a lot of people on edge. But
yeah.
I think it in the long run it's gonna be worth it.
I think so too.
Cool. Moving on to Chicago Cub Chews, previously coached by McCann, who had to he withdrew simply because he was having issues with his Wi-Fi every single week. He had to come to a decision after his internet disconnects, just because college internet, there's not much he could have done about it. So we brought in Eric. I can't remember his screen name. I only call him Eric.
It's Akai is his last.
Ashton Akai. There it is. Thank you. And this, I don't like it. Don't like it. He ended up dropping Scizor and Crawdaunt for picking up Manda Buzz and Quagsire. I don't like it. He could have dropped so many other things other than Scizor and or Crawdaunt. He had a Hitmonchan he could have dropped. He had an Aerodactyl he could have dropped. He had a Spiritomb he could have dropped. Oh, I can't say that. I didn't say that. I have to bleep that out.
What can't you say?
I can't say a specific word that resembles fire truck. I don't. It's there. You picked up a defensive defogger on a team that had some issues with getting rid of hazards when your only hazard removal was Hitmonchan and Aerodactyl. Both of those are not inherently reliable. I understand that. I respect that. But do not drop one or two of the best mons in this format, especially when you had drop fodder in mediocre mons. Like, I appreciate that you needed points to pick up something that was relatively quality, but then you proceeded to pick up Quagsire. Why did you need Quagsire on a team that you have a defensive ground type in Garchomp? Or I don't know. I don't like it. Don't like it. You guys talk.
I don't respect the decision to do the things he did. They're all bad.
What? Oh, no. I don't know. Manda Buzz is understandable.
This may be the single worst transaction I have ever seen across any league ever.
Whoa! We just came off of dropping Mega Heracross and Superior for Fortress.
This is worse.
No.
This is worse.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. No way.
This is worse.
Tell me why.
This is worse.
Why?
Because like you said, it doesn't give him anything he needed. He wasn't in desperate need of a rapid spinner like the Flygons were. He has Hitmonchan and Aerodactyl. They function like they can do it.
They function poorly.
They're not they don't function as poorly as like Braviary, because at least Aerodactyl is in a stupid speed tier that can defog at something before it dies. And Hitmonchan's perfectly fine. It's a spinner with recovery. It resists rocks.
Not reliable recovery.
Fine. It's still a form of recovery. It's better than a rocks weak, U-turn weak, volt turn weak wall.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not a Zapdos, basically, is what you're saying right now.
The only benefit of Manda Buzz is that it's really fat, and you can do like some slow U-turn, so it doesn't totally lack momentum like a Skarmory does. But even then, it's weak to so much shit. It's not a good defensive typing at all for a wall like that. It has, you know, negligible offensive presence besides knockoff, which you're better off running knockoff on a lot of other things, like, oh, I don't know, a Crawdaunt, or even a Scizor. Like, and okay, never in the history of team building ever do I know of anyone that's looked at a team and said to themselves, this team doesn't need Scizor. Like, never. Like, when do you look at a team and go, well, that team is worse for having a Scizor on it? In any meta. Like, maybe in Bizarro meta, where it only has base 1 stats and it dies from bullet punch recoil. Like, there's never a time when a team is not better for Scizor. And maybe, in this hypothetical Bizarro universe, this man is the one person that doesn't understand you just click U-turn or bullet punch. And he's like, I can't play Scizor, it doesn't fit my playstyle. Okay, fair enough. I will indulge your hypothetical nonsense because it's hypothetical nonsense. I will indulge you in this. Let's go down this road. Trade it. It's the single best fairy killer in existence, besides Mega Metagross, which is obviously banned in this league and in most sane leagues. So
maybe Mega Scizor.
Besides maybe Mega Scizor.
Which is another form of Scizor.
Even then, a banded Scizor most of the time is going to do more damage output. Like, you trade it. It is incomprehensibly valuable. And this becomes very apparent because another team picks it up immediately. The idea that this wasn't, that he didn't have people throwing offers at him for this. Offers which I can't imagine that even the stingiest of players wouldn't offer something better than Manda Buzz. And I would also like to point out, Scizor, also a defogger, with reliable recovery, and a better defensive typing.
On a team that isn't inherently weak to fire.
Oh no, that one quad weakness, that's terrible compared to the weakness to U-turn, ice, rocks,
I said
electric.
It wasn't inherently weak to fire.
Like, yeah, like what are you doing? What are you doing? What is this man doing?
Are you even gonna mention Quag, or are we just gonna gloss over it?
Do I need to? Do you want me to keep going?
I'm interested, but I'm also afraid.
Like, do I need to?
It's a Quagsire. No one in their life has ever gone, ah, shit, what do I have for Quagsire? No one has done that.
Again, I understand if you think you need more defense for Carter's team, but you didn't because you had a lot of really good medium to high bulky things.
Like, hold on,
like
let's
Mega Gardevoir, Rotom Heat, even bulky Roserade, bulky Garchomp, Spiritomb.
Yep.
Like, it's there. Like, the bulk is there. Quagsire brings nothing to this unless you were just incomprehensibly, compulsively afraid of setup mons.
Which he should, especially when he has Mega Gardevoir plus Scizor. Plus,
yeah, like, if he goes to bed every night Night Terrors...
He traded almost all of his priority away. Yes, I just realized this.
He traded the 2 best priority users possibly in the game. Both of them with stab priority that's super useful because the steal from the fairy killing and water is just a good general coverage offensive type. Oh, which, you know, happens to be from an adaptability user.
Oh my god.
Gee.
Okay, okay.
Do you understand now why I didn't feel the need to go on? Like, this is... I can't think of a worse transaction ever. This is worse than Escavalier as the first overall pick in a draft.
Wait, hold on, what?
This is worse than that.
That was a thing?
This is worse than that. This is worse.
No, hold on.
What?
Wait, but Escavalier was the first pick?
That was a GBA thing. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
move on.
Okay. All right, Adam, what do you think?
This is the worst thing ever.
All right, calm down, Mr. Cowell.
So, yeah, I don't like.
Yeah.
However, I know you're gonna say no. However, one thing that we always preach is having walls with reliable recovery, and that's what these two have. They both have roost and recover.
They do,
which is good.
You're not incorrect.
Which is a positive. I just think, as maybe one of the 10,000 points you said there, one big thing is you could trade one or both of these and get way better value than what you got. And that's the only point that I'll leave off on, is that they're really, really good mons that you could have gotten some really, really good mons in exchange for. That's all. That's all I got. I don't know how they help his team that much, because I think you'll really miss the offense. And he wasn't hurting with having Delphox or Rapid Spin Hitmonchan or Defog Aerodactyl.
I mean, when he gets a sweep with Curse Quagsire, he's gonna prove us all wrong.
I mean, hold on. That being said,
we're
moving
on. We need to move on. We're done here.
Are we Dunyan Rings?
Yes.
We're Dunyan
That's
Rings.
what it takes. We're done.
Okay. I'm so all right. Boston Breloom's Chaos in the Sky dropped Mega Aggron and Drapion for Scizor. Immediately picking up said Scizor, like literally the next transfer picked up something that was dropped. I mean, I have a soft spot for Mega Aggron, obviously, because right. I have a soft spot for Mega Aggron, but trying to pick up something as good as Scizor, especially when you have fairly reliable defensive options on your team, I can respect it. It gives him another physically offensive thing outside of Tyrantrum or Banded Donphan or Ambipom. Actually, no, what am I talking about? His Victini. Like, Victini plus Bullet Punch Scizor, that is just a great combination, because Victini goes in, weakens stuff, switches out, in comes Scizor, what do you switch into it?
It would be a great combination if Victini wasn't leading the bottom of the D2 MVP race.
We're not going to talk about that. That being said...
After only Empoleon, just throwing that out there.
That being said, Drapion wasn't actually doing all that much for the team either, although he may miss Toxic Spikes or the random knockoff user, but it's not inherently terrible because you got another knockoff user in Scizor.
I would rather have knockoff from Scizor than knockoff from Drapion, even with the stab.
Like, exactly. This was a good thing. Like, I'm going to miss Aggron just because Aggron is one of those things that you just slap on a team and then the other guy's immediately going to have issues trying to take it down. But at the same time, it's a Scizor. That's all you really need to say. Oh, what did you drop to pick Scizor up? Oh, this? Oh, no, that's fine. You're gonna be okay with it, as long as you use it well. If you proceed to use it badly, then we're gonna have some issues. But still, Chris.
Even if he uses it badly, it's almost worth it just to make sure no one else can use it against him. Like, Scizor's one of those mons. It's almost better to just pay it to sit on your bench so you don't have to play against it.
That is true.
So, like, if like, obviously this wasn't his plan going into it, because at the time,
Scizor
was on someone's team.
Safely on someone's team.
Surely no one would drop a Scizor.
No, that'd be insanity.
I didn't say that. Ethan called you insane.
No, I'm unafraid of saying that.
No, I'm just that's fine. I mean, like I said, if you don't grab it, somebody else is gonna. I guarantee you that. It's not gonna sit in the pool. Like, as good as Mega Aggron is, and it's very good, and even Drapion can be used effectively, like, Scizor is just click, point and click, good.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm fine with it.
Adam?
I mean, there's nothing really to add to that. It's just a really good mon. His team now has a lot of really good versatility offensively and defensively with Gardevoir and Rotom Wash and Donphan and Dusknoir for your kind of bulk, and even Shaman. And then you have Shaman offensively, or Gardevoir offensively, or Scizor now, or Victini. I like his team.
I think arguably it's actually that much better simply because you now have that momentum option. Like, I feel like with Chaos's team, it was more like switch to Victini, get a huge hit off, and then try and find a way to get momentum back. Now it's going to Victini, go into something, pull a double into Scizor, go for U-turn. It's more... I think it's a lot more fluid kind of play, which I didn't think he had with Aggron. So, yeah.
The other really big thing for his team is he now has a much more reliable priority user than Ice Shard or Donphan.
Yep.
Or Fake Out Ambipom. So.
Doesn't Dusknoir get Sneak?
But I think it's a base 100, and you're usually not going to invest in it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there.
We're going to move on because we spent half an hour on the first 4 transfers. So, Jordanez and the Southampton Sneasels dropped Swellow and Kabutops for Seismitoad. I mean, this is just one of those drops, like, you kind of trimmed up some fat on your team. That being said, you now have to rely on Mega Scizor as your defogger, which is not...
It's not optimal. It's not where you want to be, but it's not the worst place to be.
I mean, like, especially when you've got, like... I don't know. I have mixed feelings just because Seismitoad is good, and it looks really good on the team, save for Floatzel. But at the same time, Floatzel and Seismitoad do completely different things. And I feel like next transfer, it's going to be one of those things where we see a lot of things dropped to pick up some better form of hazard control, but I have mixed feelings.
The thing is, you can make Mega Scizor as your primary defogger work. Like I said, it's not optimal. It's not in the bottom of your options, though. It's just, the thing is, like, it's not that it's a bad defogger. It's in a vacuum. It's a good defogger. It's just that it's a Pokemon that can do so many other things. You hate to pigeonhole it.
Yep. It's, I don't know, it's exactly as you said, in a vacuum.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think Seismitoad's good. Gives him water immunity, gives him, more rocks options, like he needed it.
Because it means, like, Heatran and Druddigon can now go more offensive if he really wants to.
Yeah.
Like, no one wants to switch in on, like, Life or Druddigon.
Swallow could have done things, but it probably wasn't really going to.
Yeah.
Maybe with the Seismitoad, it might have been better to drop Floatzel and keep Swallow, but meh. It's fine. It's
Adam?
good. It's whatever.
It's great. Just great. Yeah, like you're saying, Mega Scizor is actually a very reliable defogger. It's just you could use it to be so potentially dangerously offensive that it kind of sucks that it will be your only option, but you don't have to bring Weevil, and then if you don't, then you're not overly rocks weak, so you can kind of work around it if you wanted to. I like it. Seismitoad's really good. I mean, Swallow gives you some more speed, but with having Weevil and Mega Scizzor's priority, it's not, and Floatzel's priority, and Druddigan's Sucker Punch, not really that big of a deal.
Exactly.
You'll miss that stab quick attack. Mark my words.
Guts quick attack.
Yeah,
So yeah, I like this. Like you're saying, it trimmed off the fat, and I think it's a very scary team to go against.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Cool. What is this? New Crustle United, coached by Amazing Chi, dropped Typhlosion and Archeops for Delphox. Dropped Archeops, which I didn't think was ever everyone's favorite to begin with, and a fire immunity for what is arguably a better fire type.
It's a better fire type, but that fire immunity is really nice. Immunities are really nice. It's the thing we talked about in the D1 transfers, because Typhlosion was also dropped there. But immunities can kind of get overlooked when you start looking at matchups and things like that. But they are super useful. Like, just getting a free switch in is great. That being said, Delphox is probably better. Like, it better speed tier naturally, different coverage options.
More,
it's nice to have
dual stab, which is nice.
Dual stab and stab on a really, like, thing is, like, you got to pick a side on Typhlosion. Psyshock means you don't have to. Like, you can just run full special Delphox, obviously, and that's what you're gonna do. But they can't just wall you with one special wall, because then you're gonna come in with Psyshock and hurt things. Like, that's just really useful.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's an upgrade. I think losing Archeops is a little bit of a bummer, because even though I think it's simple and kind of straightforward, it still does the things it does all right.
What?
So.
What? Are you defending
like,
Archeops?
Kind of. Like, not as, like, a great thing that I think people should draft, but, like, just, again, like, I tend to think about loss of value and stuff like that. Like, in a perfect world where you can get a Typhlosion for a Delphox trade, I'm fine with that. But the point where you're losing more things that you've already spent money on, it starts to add up.
Oh,
like,
it's not a case of, like, Archeops being better than Xmon or Ymon. It's more an argument of you could have picked this up at the very beginning, and now you're losing value.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That's a big thing for me when I'm looking at these things. Like, I would really like to see the statistics at the end of the season for, like, if you adjusted the team's values to what they are. Like, if you take a snapshot at the end of the season and you put their beginning of season draft prices up to it and see how it compares. Like,
yeah.
Because I imagine a lot of people end up running, like, $75 million teams as opposed to the $100 million teams they drafted.
Yeah.
Or worse.
Yeah.
So.
Adam?
So he's looking a little lenient on the physical attacking spectrum.
Yeah.
He's got Haxorus and Crocodile. I guess Mesprit has, what, 105, I think, if you wanted to go a little crazy with physical Mesprit.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
I know, right? But that being said, I also agree that I think Delphox is just better than Typhlosion. And I think it just gives him a little bit more dangerous options, especially with being able to hit with the fire, water, fire, grass, and psychic. So I like it a lot. His team is really dangerous now because he has good speed on some things, and he has Mega Venusaur and Crocodile to help it out. I don't know, it's good.
Nice.
I'm adding a lot of in-depth analysis right now.
I don't know, there's not much really else to say. other than the fact like maybe we'd like to see some sort of more physical presence. Like it's not.
I mean,
needed.
if you're just trying to drop things for money, drop Empoleon.
God damn it! Alright, I'm not even gonna comment on Paulie. Moving on.
It's taking
No.
up
Moving on. Moving on. Kangaskhan's, North Melbourne Kangaskhan's and Travesty picked up Why Not? Why not?
Best transaction. So good. So good. It's 2 points. It's 2 points. What else is he gonna do with those 2 points? You're not gonna do anything with those 2 points. And Why Not is like a nearly foolproof guaranteed kill 1 week.
I mean, unless you mess it up somehow. Then,
That's why I said
yeah.
it's nearly foolproof. Like, as long as you pick something that isn't a common Volt Turner, or you predict well enough, like
you pull one fancy double, something is dying. Something is going to die. And that is fantastic. That is exactly what you needed to do.
That's absolutely worth 2 points if you play it right.
Yeah, I mean, like you can easiest bait of your life, and that in the fact it makes the other guy afraid of falling for the easy bait. You play mind games by just bringing it. You don't even. It doesn't even need to see the field, and you can win because you psych the other guy out.
Yeah, I mean, it's even just the fact that it's on a team. You don't even need to bring it, and people.
Yeah, you're gonna force someone to run Shell Shed or Shed Shell. Like,
Shell.
I started to say Shell Bell, and I was like, "That is not right." I am.
That is the best item in the game.
Yeah.
No wonder it's banned.
Like Shed Shell. Like that's. You force someone to use a stupid gimmick item for your stupid gimmick mon that you don't necessarily need to bring. It's great.
I remember when like trapping was all the rage at the beginning of ORAS-OU. Like everyone and their mothers was running Shed Shell Pharaoh and Shed Shell Skarm.
Yeah, like it's so good. Like
yeah,
for 2 points that he wasn't gonna use on anything else.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Go for it. All day. Best transaction.
Adam.
Like,
it's great.
Is that it?
I mean, I already said my 2 cents. It's even if you don't bring it to the matches, it already makes people plan differently than what they wanted to do, and that's worth the 2 points that you brought it up for. It's as simple as that. If it makes someone change how they're planning, it's worth the 2 points.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Anything else?
Nah.
Nope.
Cool. Monotui of the Tampa Bay Lux Rays. This guy's a cheeky git. I have a thing or two to say about this. This guy's
You go on your rant.
I will. Dropped Sneasel and Chandelure and picked up the freshly dropped Nidoking. Obviously Nidoking value, blah blah blah. Cheeky git. He's a cheeky git because he offered a trade. Actually, hold on. There's like he not only is a cheeky git, he also may have almost screwed himself over. He's a cheeky git because he approached Juancito Marvel of the Amityville Haunters to trade Chandelure for the Volcarona. Juan didn't take him up on that offer, which is lucky for Mono, which I'll get to in a second. Basically, Mono wanted to trade Chandelure for something with more value, so he didn't have to drop Sneasel as well to pick up the Nidoking. I thought that was cheeky, and that annoys me, but it's also good from a strategic standpoint. He may have, but hold on, here's the other thing. Had Juan gone through with it, that means he would have gotten rid of Chandelure for a Volcarona, which he doesn't really need. Hold on, I gotta pull up the team. Like, he doesn't really need it. Like, he has setup sweepers in like Manaphy and arguably Aerodactyl.
Yeah.
Even SD Excadrill. Like, those things are all really, really scary. He didn't need it on his team. If anything, it would actually be worse for his team simply because having a 4 times weak thing on your team when you have Excadrill, Togetic, and Mega Aerodactyl as your forms of removal, that means you're going to be running default Togetic. I don't know when you'd want to run Rapid Spin Excadrill when you have options like that on your team, but still, that's the way the rules work. I actually had to double check before we did this video simply because I'm like, wait, can he actually do that? But apparently he can. So he's lucky that Juan didn't take him up on his offer. That being said, Mono got spookier, but also at the same time made himself less weak. Like, I don't know, like he made himself more weak to water, but also it doesn't really matter, especially when he has Heliolisk and Tangrowth and Manaphy. It's actually kind of brilliant. Nidoking fits on the team really, really well. It adds a nice take out of the box wall breaker. Like, Hariyama requires to be played really, really well. Heliolisk needs some sort of Life Orb or Specs or something like that. Manaphy needs setup. Excadrill is team matchup based. And then Mega Aerodactyl obviously needs its Mega to do spooky dooky things. I like it. I think he's cheeky and he almost screwed himself over, but I like it.
Go ahead, Chris.
I hate that he had to. I hate that he had to give up Sneasel.
Oh my god. Me too.
And again, we're talking value here. We're talking matchups and stuff like that. Especially for his team where he has some spooky speed, but not a ton of priority or any priority like running around besides Bullet Punch Yama. Like fake out Yama. Sheer Force fake out Yama. Shout out to Roger. Yeah, so I think Sneasel still had value for him. Inarguably, Nidoking is very good. You know, like we said when we were talking about the many reasons why people shouldn't drop it. But, you know, it's a trade-off for him. Probably Nidoking is usually better, but I don't know. Because again, like Sneasel just gives you more of that speed. It still hits hard. And the priority is really nice. I don't know that I really liked this. I think he might have been better off getting the trade and not getting Nidoking for a week and seeing what happened there. But that's me.
I think team composure wise, Nidoking fits in really well with this team. And like we're saying, it's almost impossible to switch in freely to Nidoking unless you have... No, I can't even think of something that just switches freely to Nidoking. I do miss Chandelure for its useful immunities and all that good stuff, but it didn't help Mono's team all that much because a lot of things that it's either immune to or resists, he has a whole bunch of other options to deal with those.
Yeah.
Like the fire we were talking about.
Yeah, the thing is, like, why are you going to bring in Flash Fire Chandelure when you can bring in Resisted Manaphy and get a free turn to set up?
Exactly. Or even Thick Fat Hariyama if you wanted to go crazy.
Yeah.
So, as much as I love Chandelure because it can be just an absolute nuke with that 145 special attack, I like Nidoking for this team a lot. But, that's me. There you go. We're done. Move on.
I don't know. I think everything that needs to be said has been said. Cool.
Yep.
Ruby Marrow of the Glass City Gliscors dropped Talonflame for Alakazam. I like it. Actually, no. This is actually really good considering that he now has only two things that are weak to rocks, which is really, really good. The fact that Alakazam is basically a guaranteed kill Mon. Like, it has the coverage and the power to guarantee at least one kill every single game, which is really, really good, because LOL, Magic Guard, flippin', what's it called, Sash, or if you can play it well enough, you get Life Orb Magic Guard, and you can bluff this Sash, which in turn will make people afraid of trying to play for it.
And you know, when your only hazard removal options are Defog Flygon or Defog Charizard X, Magic Guard's pretty useful.
Exactly. I think Ruby is definitely the team that has surprised me the most, especially looking at his beginning roster and now where he is at now.
He's on full-on cannibalize mode. This team is gutted.
It's gutted. It's not optimized in any way, shape, or...
It's not lean. You can't even say it's lean though. This team is emaciated.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like this is coming back to the fact that he could have definitely optimized his week 2 transfers. But again, it is not a bad transfer. It is something that has greatly benefited the team, and I feel like he should have praise for that.
In the objective vacuum, this is a good trade.
Yeah.
There's nothing bad about it. It's just his team is so emaciated at this point that it feels a little too late. Like this is the end of what he can do, really, and it's rough. Like it's very rough.
I mean, again, like he obviously knows what he's doing, considering how well he's doing with arguably the worst team in Division 2. Like he's currently 2-2.
Something like that.
Yeah. Still, it's good. What do you think, Adam?
Jolteon, Alakazam, Mamoswine, and Keldeo are super scary. Megazard X, Grand Bull, Flygon, Crawdilly, not so much.
I'll even not put Granbull in that camp. I'll even put Granbull in a camp slightly above those.
I mean, Granbull is just one of those really, really good fairy types that people kind of sleep on.
So, whereas, yes, Magic Guard is great, you have very limited switch-ins to things. So, I mean, he's going to rely on Alakazam a lot, I feel like, because he's going to need to revenge a lot, which isn't terrible. It's not a terrible situation to be in because Alakazam can do that for you.
I mean, he's definitely got the team that will force switches, and then he's got the things to abuse those switches.
Like he's got half the team that will force switches.
I mean,
he's got a Flygon and a Cradily.
Keldeo will force switches, Jolteon will force switches, Alakazam will come in on those switches if he pulls a nice double, or he has Mamoswine to weaken things for Alakazam. Like, he can use Alakazam to clean late game once he removes all of the priority. No one wants to face a Mega Charizard X, even though we've all said that Mega Charizard X is nowhere near as good as people make it out to be. But it's still scary enough that people are gonna be like, oh god, it's a Charizard. And that's good. It's enough to make people get uncomfortable. And when you have a team where you really can't afford to switch around, it will benefit Ruby in the long run.
Yep. I think that's a good viewpoint on it. I do think Ruby has made moves to improve the team every transfer window that's popped up.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate that some of them have been at large value deficits and that he has to run so thin now, but they are still objective improvements.
Yep. Okay. All good?
Yeah.
Cool. Electric Storm, Melbourne Victory Stars did nothing again this week, so we're going to hop on over to the Maryland Tour Terrapins, coached by Under the Radar. He ended up, what did he do? He dropped Virizion for Electivire. I don't like it. I liked Virizion. I don't like Electivire. Electivire is bad. Well, no, hold on. That's. I can't just say that.
Yeah, you can. Do it, Ethan.
No.
Do it.
That's
just
bad.
say it's bad.
No, that's bad analysis. It's bad because...
it's fine.
Chris, no. It's bad because you took something that had a great speed tier on something that on a team that direly needed. I don't know about direly. You took something off that really helped your team. Virizion would have synergized super duper well with Mega Houndoom. It was one of the better grass type mons because what do you have besides Virizion? Shaman's gone. Celebi really wouldn't have fit on this team. In fact, Celebi would be bad for this team. Nobody wants Go-Goat. Go-Goat is bad. And that I will not defend, because Go-Goat is bad. It gives him...
Yeah.
reliable recovery.
Hush.
On a wall.
Oh, Virizion has Giga Drain. There it is. It gave
Quad
him.
weak.
It's got synthesis, I'm sure.
Quad weak.
It's not.
No,
It's
nobody.
quad weak on a team that doesn't care about flying types. I
Sure,
can respect the fact that Electivire. I think that Kelly fell into the trap of like, oh, Electivire has such a great move pool. Obviously, it's going to be good. When it's not. It's not. It's not frail enough. It's not strong enough, and it's not fast enough to warrant dropping something as high quality as not high quality, a better quality as Virizion, which is high quality on this team.
I definitely agree with you with the speed tier part, because really outside of Jirachi, Mega Doom, I guess Crobat. Damn,
Yeah.
didn't see Crobat. Maybe not. Maybe speed tier's not that, not that important.
I mean, Doom and Crobat's still not compared to a lot of people, especially when you look at the lack of priority going on. Like,
True.
some teams totally has beaten speed, but could still be better. Like, it very rarely hurts you to have a super fast team.
Yeah. There's not a lot of Trick Room teams running around in League format.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
I
say
mean,
Trick Room.
Who does that? Who does
Don't
that?
say Trick Room.
Yeah, Ethan.
We're not talking about that. We're moving on. Chris, what do you think of dropping Virizion?
I generally down talk Virizion. I don't think it's that great. Like, for the amount of points or priority a lot of people give it in their draft rush, like as early as a lot of people get it. But objectively, it's better than Electivire. Like, it's not... If your Electivire works, which is a large if, it's probably going to do something impressive. Like, you're going to get off some crazy motor drive sweep, and, Electivire is going to be at the top of the D2 MVP race along with all the other bizarre crap that's up there. But that's a huge if contingent. Virizion is going to do exactly what it's meant to do every week. It's reliable, and it's steady, and it's consistent, and generally that performs better in the long term.
Yep. Speaking of weird stuff, at the top of the MVP race, at the end of week 4, Gliscor is at the top with 7 kills and 0 deaths.
Yeah, let's score best.
I don't know. Like,
Adam, what do you think about things?
I think that he's going to really miss the stab fighting moves that come from Virizion. I think that's the more important part, because he doesn't really have to worry about grass so much because he has Gudra. But I think that's actually going to be a big deal, whether that be stab focus blast or stab close combat. I think that
He's
is
really gonna miss it when he misses cross chop. That's when you're
exactly. Exactly. So that's my big part, because you guys have already talked about the other side of it. I think the stab fighting is going to be missed.
you basically dropped a team-centric... Like, you dropped a Mon that worked fantastically on this team for something that will not ever really work when there's a decent player around.
Yeah,
No.
he dropped steady and reliable for something that needs setup and hand holding.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hold on. That being said, yeah, it hasn't done anything.
Virizion?
No, Virizion... I mean, I was talking about Electivire. Virizion was the MVP of Week 3, and that's it. And it appeared in Week 3 and then got 3 kills and died. Which is honestly enough for me to keep it.
I mean, potentially, like, maybe Virizion just has a super terrible matchup in the upcoming weeks.
Right.
But even then, I'm just like, it's a value thing. I'm just like, can't you trade it to someone for something better, like, than Electivire?
And I will definitely say that I always have a rough time trying to wrap my brain around that aspect of the transfer windows.
Same.
I can't quite get into that mindset of being able to drop something for what might be better just for the next 2 weeks, as opposed to what's better overall. So that maybe there's something there that he dropped it for, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's always been difficult for me to get into for the PPL mindset.
Again, though, I feel like there's got to be somebody that's got an electric type lying around for 2 weeks that isn't doing anything, you know, like that's
True.
better, you know, that needs a grass type or grass resist or something like that. Like, ugh.
Bleh. Okay, last one. Wakombi Warriors didn't actually do anything.
Did nothing.
Yeah, did nothing.
I'm
Started at the top. Why change things?
It's true. Don't change what's working.